And of course, everybody wants to know what's going to happen to the house prices, as if the bond prices and the stock market prices don't dictate what's going to happen to the rest of the economy, including employment, and as if that's not going to influence where the house prices go. But we tend to think about those house prices in isolation. Currently, as we know, the borders have been locked, no overseas travelers to come in, which means those funds will not find its way into the property market. Housing is needed to house those people that come in, whether they come in permanently or students or tourists. They need to sleep somewhere. So the fewer souls you have to house, the lesser the demand. So that just tells you that it's a simple 101 mathematics of supply and demand, or demand and supply, and currently oversupply and no demand. But some of the people we see on TV often and tend to get their opinions, have expressed their opinions on that. So let's see what the latest on that is.
Deficit.
On house prices, of course, everything comes back to house prices in Australia. You expect that house prices to come under pressure, down by 10 to 15% from their peak, sort of at the beginning of this year. Other economists, however, believe that we won't see those sorts of falls because while there are a lot of households in pain, there's a lot of households with a lot of cash and interest rates are at zero.
You may have a lot of cash if you're lucky, and interest rates are close to zero, but you are assuming, or at least is assuming, that you've kept your job. That's a big one. I mean, you will not have enough cash to buy a house, so you definitely need income. So you may have $200,000-300,000 that will not buy you a house, any decent house in probably most of New South Wales, definitely not in Sydney. So you are uh, assuming that you have a job and you still will need it no matter how much cash you have in the bank, how lucky you are and good of a saver you are. You just need to have kept your job. If you have, like I said, $300,000 in your bank and you don't have a job, you still really only can buy gold, silver, crypto, which I haven't spoken to about for a while, or stock, obviously stocks, shares.
What's your argument for why house prices will fall?
Well, there's no doubt that ultra low.
Also, is he dreaming when he thinks that the house prices will go down by 10 to 15%? Or, as Elise said, some economists are saying they're not going to go down at all. So, who's dreaming? Those economists, or Shane Oliver, or those economists are dreaming more, if you can dream more? Or are we dreaming?
Low interest rates are very supportive of the housing market. But the problem here is that house prices have been falling. The Sydney property price is down 2% since April. The Melbourne property price is down 3.5% since March. So despite all the supports for households, JobKeeper, expanded JobSeeker, bank payment holidays, ultra low interest rates, house prices have been drifting down. What happens if you take those supports away?
This is a very good point. I did not watch this before I presented it to you, but Shane Oliver is outdoing himself, and so he should, because that's his job.
The bank payment holiday is taken away, and particularly JobSeeker is taken away or starts to get tapered or reduced, then you're going to see, I think, a lot of houses put on the market. Some of them might be forced by the banks. Some of them might just be households saying, we can't afford to service this loan. Some of them might just be investors saying, well, this isn't viable anymore, particularly in a world of very low immigration levels and therefore very low underlying demand. And therefore that increase in supply that I expect to occur over the next 6 to 12 months will ultimately put pressure on prices, and they will come down. Not crash in the sense of fall 20% in a couple of months, but I think we will see an ongoing downtrend in prices out to the middle of next year.
I'm sure first home buyers hope that's the case.
I mean, really, very good points. The same points that the fundamentals said in the past, that you had people, immigration, so you had people to buy, so there was more demand and the supply and all those over the years, the arguments that have been given now, they have gone the other way, except that the interest rates are even lower than they used to be. However, on the other hand, there's people don't have jobs, but the ones that didn't have jobs or still don't, they on that job seeker, job keeper programs, which are expiring, as was mentioned. So the house prices, if they go down, they're not going to go down in a month or two. It'll take a little bit longer, but it won't take all that long if it does happen. So Shane Oliver says 10-15%. Economy Times says 40%. Let's see who's correct. Um, Again, it won't take very long to find out. It depends how long these stimulus go, but say another 6 months, these things do drag out. They don't happen overnight. Look, because I've been called a little bit of a pessimist and bear, which maybe is my nature. I haven't been creating many videos where I would have given you stories, economical stories or news stories, which pretty much confirm how dire the situation is with the economy at the moment. So every one of my video would be very bearish, very negative. But since we've talked about and we've just seen the interview with Shane Oliver, who predicted 10 to 15% drop from the peaks, which is not all that much. Let's see what that latest data is really. But yeah, spoiler, it's not good.
Just to show how perilous it is in the economy, the banking regulator released data today detailing just how many businesses and households aren't or are unable to pay the mortgage. Almost 1 in 5 small businesses aren't making repayments. Just over 1 in 10 households aren't. Now, these figures are as at the end of June, and as we know, economic conditions have deteriorated sharply from then for large parts of the economy. A fortnight ago, almost half of all businesses surveyed by the ABS reported a decrease in revenue for the past month. Tomorrow night, thousands of businesses across Victoria will be shutting their doors for at least 6 weeks. And as Steph Chalmers reports, shutting down and reopening again isn't as easy or as cheap as turning the lights on and off.
Whatever your stance on CV is, locking people down for 6 weeks is going to send them go berserk. So one way or the other, it may cut the numbers down, but it'll introduce all sorts of other problems. But again, what I'm saying to you here is probably nothing that hasn't been discussed everywhere in another YouTube channel or a blog or even a mainstream television program. But I wouldn't know that because I don't watch TV. With that, thanks for watching. Stay safe. We'll keep in touch. Let me know your thoughts or anything else what you're thinking about in the comments below. Any ideas, any new information, and I can cover and visit that. Take a look at it for us and analyze it. All right. Thank you. Bye bye.